My favorite form of communication is communicating through popular song. Um, I think communicating with words and lyrics and melodies and chords and music is a really good way of expressing emotion and expressing feeling, which I think is really hard to express and communicate through um, verbal, purely verbal communication or messaging or writing letters. An interesting experience that I have had is on stage when I play gigs, talking in front of the audience is really easy to do as opposed to talking one-to-one, which I can often find more difficult. I find on stage it's much easier communicating. So I've had many good experiences on stage talking to the audience. A bad experience I've had is I used to have a stammer when I was a kid, and this I think I attribute to internet kind of MSN messaging. When I was younger, I used to talk a lot online. I was at a very impressionable age, between 13 and 18. I spent a lot of my time talking online via MSN and stuff like that. And I think that for a few years made it difficult for me to communicate through spoken language, through words. So that was kind of a bad experience for me. How has communication changed in the past 10 years? Well, of course, the rise of this fast-paced Twitter, Facebook, every second updating your status form of communication. Yeah, so that's how communication has changed. It's become much more immediate and much more. I can communicate to someone in China at the click of a finger, and mobile phones, and it's all now extremely integrated, and there's no, that might perhaps take away an element of humanity, because we're now part of this big kind of network of Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. Final question. In 10 years from now, what will we be doing? We will be, how do you think communication will change? Communication will change in that it will continue to go down this route of Twitter, Facebook, and kind of networking, communicating via social networks, and it might even kind of transcend that and go into things like Second Life and all these kind of games and these that people play now online, and these kind of virtual worlds which people take part in. Communication might kind of become evolve and adapt to these different worlds and these different circumstances. So that's how I think communication will change. It will become a lot more fast-paced than it is now, even if that's possible, and it will adapt depending on the environment in which it is communicated in, perhaps via things like Second Life and games.